True saved Christians don't judge anyone. All of you missed the message completely. And then he goes on about the Oliver Anthony thing. They really didn't like you comparing him to Oliver Anthony.
Gosh,
but true Christians.
Oh my gosh, true Christians.
Don't judge anyone.
Well, shall we read the Bible?
Yeah.
Shall we get the verses out?
I brought this. We'll let Lee read it here.
Holy cow!
Since he
These
brought
people
this
are
one
insane.
up. Can you see it, Lee?
This is the passage in 1 Corinthians chapter 5 where it talks about the person who was in the church who was doing something that even the pagans don't do. And Paul says you got to get rid of this person. Now, if you're not supposed to judge anybody, there's no way you would ever get rid of this person. That's why we don't have church discipline anymore within our churches. And that's why sin is rampant within our churches, because you have people like that bozo who says we don't need to judge anybody. I'm judging you. You're a bozo.
Christians shouldn't judge anybody.
Real Christians.
That's the way that was worded.
True Christians shouldn't judge anybody. So he's calling us fake Christians, which is a judgment on his part, which it means he's which means he's a lying POS. That's what he is.
Whoa! Get him! Get him fired up!
I'm just seriously. I mean, you're so arrogant and smug in your little comment there that you're totally missing the picture, dude. You're a judgmental little freak. That's what you are. To sit there and question my Christianity because I commented on a video, a 3-minute video.
We said we didn't like it, and oh, Lord help us, the internet blows up.
Good gosh, man. Go check your church and see if anybody in there doesn't like Tom McDonald and kick their butts out.
He's looking at the camera now.
Well, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous to deal with this. Paul said, I wrote to you in my letter not to associate with sexually immoral people. That's a judgment.
Oh yeah, on that crowd. Yeah.
Not on meaning the sexually immoral of this world, or the greedy and spinners, or idolaters, since they would need to go out of this world. But I'm writing to you not associated with the parents in the name of a brother. Anybody who's within the church, anybody who calls himself a Christian.
Yep.
Now, if he's saying it about Jesus, and he wants Jesus to come here, then he's
claiming to be a Christian.
Okay, now is it okay for me to judge him now that he's brother?
It should be, by that.
Right. But God judges those people outside the church.
Yeah.
But it's my job, anybody who ever bears the name of Christ, it is my job to hold them accountable as I expect them to hold me accountable. And to say that we shouldn't judge anyone.
True Christians shouldn't judge. They're allowed to judge.
I guarantee you this true Christian doesn't like Donald Trump.
Maybe not.
He's
probably made a judgment on him.
Or he doesn't like Joe Biden. Or he doesn't like somebody because he's passed judgment.
He doesn't like us.
Who cares? But this is indicative of the problem within the church. And all those people who are like, you know what, this is why I left the church. Good. You left the church because you wanted to.
Well,
you left the church because you were looking for an excuse to leave the church.
You used Christians as an excuse to leave the church.
Oh, absolutely. It has nothing to do, because there's places you go all the time and things that you do all the time where a bunch of despicable people hang out there and do the same thing, and you have no problem being a part of that. Seriously, you probably shop at Target. You know? I'm not
going to say it.
The reason why they get so mad at us because we're the first Christians to say we're not going to take his crap anymore, and we're not going to let a bunch of godless pagans sit around and tell us how to do Christians, and we're going to not let a bunch of people who think they know everything about Christianity lecture us. All right, and so it's just so the irony is just incredible in this, because you've got all these judgmental comments about us judging, and people.
And they have no idea they have no idea
the hypocrisy
but that's
of what
just
they're
it.
saying.
They think that it's only Christians that shouldn't judge. It always says Christians shouldn't judge. Christians shouldn't do this. People outside our little brotherhood here are apparently allowed to do whatever they want.
When Jesus was talking about that, he said, "Judge not, lest you be judged. For the same manner that you use, judge others, be used, judge you." And later on, he says, "Judge rightly." That's what he says. Not in that passage, but later on, he says, "Judge rightly."
Yeah.
You know,
that's rightly.
If you've got a speck in your eye, a plank in your eye, don't look at the speck in your brother's eye. He said, first remove the plank from your eye, then you'll be able to take care of the speck, which implies a judgment there.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, in Matthew chapter 7, when he's talking about that, he says, don't give to dogs what is holy, and don't cast your pearls before swine.
Yeah.
How do you know who the dogs are, and how do you know who the swine are if you're not judging?
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing that now.
It's important, because I think you were talking really fast, and the way our mics work, you probably modulated a little bit. Tom McDonald's countless times has called himself or considered himself a Christian.
Okay.
By doing that, he has aligned himself with people like us.
See, I didn't even know
he is now in this brotherhood, or as a brother and sister.
Absolutely.
Of us. So he should be held accountable for his actions by other brothers.
Right.
That's what the Bible teaches. whether you want to call it judging over there or not, that's what we are supposed to do.
But to make the
And I was very vague.
comprehensively stupid statement that we shouldn't judge anybody.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
That's dumb.
Now,
It is not-
now maybe an argument could be made that we
this
don't
guy goes
judge.
picks a doctor and just like, oh no, open the phone book, I'll just
Yeah.
go. You know,
Well, I mean, there's an argument to be made that we shouldn't judge unbelievers, and that's fine. But we were talking about somebody that claims to be a believer,
Mhm.
who is living a life full of fruits that don't align with what a Christian should, and that's
Right.
what I said, right? So, Tom aligning himself, calling himself Christian, or some form of faith that he buys into, makes us eligible to make that judgment call.
But I think it's
Scripturally.
interesting because you know, he claims Christ, and honestly, I don't know. I don't
Right.
think we've ever said he's.
But
not
his
a
life doesn't
Christian.
look like it. Yeah.
And he'll put out a video called Superman, and then the next video he'll put out will have so many beeps in it you
Yeah.
can't even tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, can I say anything about that, or am I not supposed to say anything about that?
Right.
And the reason why we have so much sin rampant within the church is because we don't judge and hold one another accountable.
Right.
I mean,
Because we're not allowed to judge.
the scripture talks about if you have a brother who's sinning, you go to him. If he doesn't listen, you go with a witness. If they don't listen to that, you take him before the church, and then the church passes judgment. That's the passage where it talks
the
about.
church passes judgment. Oh,
Church
wow.
discipline. Yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
That's the passage where it says, "Where 2 or 3 get it together, there I am in the midst." That whole
Uh-huh.
context of that
Oh,
passage is dealing with
gosh.
church discipline.
Yeah,
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if you're by yourself, Jesus is not there.
All 3 of us pray together, he'll be in the midst of
Yeah.
us.
Oh,
That's
you
not
missed
what I'm
it.
talking
That
about.
came up at church at dinner the other night.
Oh, did it?
He was like,
Did you stomp at the
'cause-
ground?
because somebody said it, and he was like, "Man, we take that so far out of context. What if I'm alone?"
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, he's gone.
Jesus is not there.
Yeah.
No.
No,
So
he's-
there's
He's flying across the sky in a blue suit with a red cape.
when Jesus had his confrontation with the Pharisees, and he said, "You hypocrites."
Yeah.
He was judging them. You whitewashed tombs.
Yeah.
You're nice on the outside, nice and clean on the outside, but the inside you're full of dead man's bones. That's what he was taught. He was passing judgment on them, and these were religious people. And so, I don't know. I feel stupid talking about this stuff because
It's sad that we have to explain it.
Well,
Like-
it's just the fact that it is something that the teaching on it is so clear and so plain if you look at it. And you understand the context of what he's saying. And when you judge rightly.
Yeah.
You get to the point to where you understand that nobody wants to learn it. That's the issue. It's not that they're too stupid to comprehend it. It's just that they don't want to learn it because they want to have a license to do whatever they want to do. And if you say, nobody can judge me but God.
Then they can do whatever they want, and you can't say a thing
But then
about
again,
it.
when they say that only God can judge me, there's no fear in that.
No, they don't really mean that.
But yeah, like God will judge you one day.
Yeah, because if they meant that, they'd live different.
Right. So I think it's funny. I do because
Yeah, in fact, all throughout the Old Testament, you've got people empowered to do exactly that. They were sent as judges to the people of Israel.
what about
That was
what
their
about a
job.
judge
It
in a
wasn't
court?
God's job at that point. He sent somebody with a specific job to do the
Right.
judging.
What about judges in court?
Yeah.
Can they
Crap.
judge?
Not.
Yeah,
Are they
that's-
wrong?
They can't be Christian. That's what it is. They can't
Well,
have
they
a Christian
can't judge
judge.
Christians. So if I commit a crime, I'm good, right?
No, Christians can't judge. You got that.
I'll just
back.
stand up and
Oh,
go, you
crap.
can't judge me.
Yeah, you can't judge me.
Only God can judge me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he'll go, you're going to prison. It's hilarious.
No, I know what they're talking about. They're like, well, how dare you look at him and just say, oh, he's not a Christian? We never said that.
We never said that.